this whole journey that I'm talking about is kind of crazy because it's like not something you would normally see in a average kid's lifespan or like, you know, timeline of who they become as a person. I think it was going through like the end of middle school-ish to like right before high school is when I started, you know, playing more, you know, video games and like computer games, stuff like that, whether it was on like a console or like PC. You know, fast forward a little bit, I've been playing for a decent, like, you know, about a day or two now. I started playing, got on, played a couple games with myself, then started to play the online mode that I, you know, just started recently getting into. And so I think it was maybe a couple games in that I was playing, you know, having a good time as always, and somebody had quoted a specific line from a video that I had recently just watched, maybe like 10 minutes before turning on the system and going on and deciding to play. And so I remember hearing like the exact like quote. It was like there's like a specific you know, like catchphrase or whatever that this, you know, person that was making this video had.
Look at this, he's sagging, you know the rules.
So I was like, oh hey, you watched Chris Move too? And he was like, yeah. And you know, we kind of had that little like connection there over, you know, somebody else creating content through a game. So he ended up sending me a friend request, adding me, and then I had the little like, you know, message pop up that he had sent it to me. You know, I saw it, I was like, okay, cool. So maybe I have another person to play with, because at the time only had, I think it was one other person that I really played with consistently. Yeah, so, you know, after playing for a little bit of time, me and Alexa did some pretty crazy things at home, just on the game. Like, there were times where I remember, and I haven't even told my mom this, so this is the first time she's getting at this. There was times in high school where I'd probably have the school day the next day and there's a game coming out on that day. And I'll tell her, oh, like the next day I'd be like, oh, all of a sudden I'm like super sick or something like that. I can't go to school.
I vaguely remember that time when you tried to get out of school. Well, I shouldn't say you tried, you actually did.
There was times where we would set alarms, like, you know, 4 or 5 of them like early in the morning before, you know, school, so we'd get on ahead of time and, you know, get a game or two in. I've probably been playing with the same person consistently for, yeah, just about a year. We played, you know, multiple games, all different types of games, from shooters to sports games, you know, racing games, all that type of stuff.
Oh, yeah, let's kill him. What the fuck is
Oh, that might go all the way. That's a home run. Step back. You already know. Oh! 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 Get off my court!
There's one day where I was playing and all of a sudden I got a phone call. So I answered. I was like, okay, I'll see who it is. Like, consciously thinking nothing of it. It was somebody from Facebook, so obviously they probably found my profile or knew me from somewhere. And it was Alex, which is the name of the person who I was playing with at the time. I only knew him by his online ID, which was like some weird thing, you know, like when you're younger, you come up with, it's like some really bad thing, like, you know. I didn't say anything. I was like, he said something first, and I was like, I kind of like thought about it for a second. I was like processing it, and it clicked for me that it was like, oh, this is like who I've been playing with this whole time, and like this is the face behind the voice and the name that I've seen online so many times. It was really weird because it wasn't like an awkward conversation that we had. It was like a normal conversation. It was just that first like second of like realizing like, oh, this is like really who this person is.
I remember always being afraid of, you know, he's talking to people from different cities and states and countries.
We started planning, you know, our next trip to, like, you know, all meet up somewhere, and we all ended up, you know, going over like different locations, what would be the best, and we all ended up coming to like the, you know, executive decision to go with California. So we all started, you know, looking for flights, you know, frantically like, oh, what's the best one? What's the best flight company that we can go with? And so we ended up, you know, planning our flights. We all wanted to land in the morning so we can get there early, you know, be able to, you know, unpack and still have some of the day left to do stuff. So they sent us the message that said, you know, oh, they're saying we're gonna have a delay because our airplane, you know, isn't at the airport that we're at yet because of rain delays or something like that. And by this time, we're already boarding. We're taking off, so our service cuts off, so we can't get any messages. And we're already in the air, on our way there.
They're 2 hours and 45 minutes, something like that, but they're about to be here. They're coming to baggage claim in a couple minutes. They're gonna come down the escalator over there. But yeah.
So we get all settled in, and like anybody else would, like a group of friends. You're out in California. It's like a new place to venture off into. Like anything you could probably think of that we were out there doing, we probably did. So. We went out and had this huge trip and like made this really good memory that we're probably never gonna forget. And then, came back with that, remembering like, we really just went out there at a young, not even that old of an age where some people don't even get to do stuff like that. So, and all in all, it's like, we really all kind of realized that we had created such a bigger thing than we imagined through playing something that feels so isolated. Like we all started, at home on a game system, playing a basketball game and talking to each other over, something that some other person said in their video, and it really created this huge, circle of, friendship and, relationships with people that you don't really find anywhere else.